Going no contact with a toxic, narcissistic person is much easier to say than it is to do sometimes. In this video, I want to go over no contact, what it is, and how you can get a plan in place so that when you are ready to do this, you can make it as easy on yourself as possible. No contact is when we decide that we're going to exit the life of this person who is toxic, controlling, and has a lot of narcissistic traits and tendencies. Phone numbers are blocked, social media is blocked, we move out or they move out, or so on. Everything comes to an end. We begin to untangle everything to move forward. There is no contact of any kind with this person. We all have a different situation, of course, so it will be different for everyone to go no contact. You might live with this person, have kids with this person, be married, and so your journey might have different steps, or it might have more steps. I encourage those of you in these situations to look into what's called the gray rock technique or the gray rock method. You'll probably have to start there first before you can engage in no contact, if you can engage in no contact at all. That's very difficult to do when you have children and things of that nature. This video is still good for reference, however, so I encourage you to keep listening. Making a no contact plan before jumping in and blocking this person is what I think helps this whole thing have a higher success rate with as little anxiety as possible when dealing with something like this. With a plan in place, you're less likely to break no contact and go back for another cycle of narcissisticness. So how exactly do you go about making a plan? Let's jump into it and talk about it a little bit. Firstly, there are a few things that I feel people need to accept that really helps as we take more steps in the process. No contact, a lot of times, is a trial and error process. You might have them blocked on all fronts, but you forget about that one old pesky email address, and that's how they get in touch with you. So you need to retrace your steps, go back and tie up some of those loose ends. Another thing that we have to accept is that we have to leave and go without saying one more word. And I know that most folks want to have that exit interview for closure and just to be a decent adult. You want to tell them this isn't working and why and how you feel and how they've made you feel, or even things that everyone needs to work on. And we just kind of want to have that ending conversation. But please, survivor, please understand that you cannot do this with a narcissist. They don't want to have that conversation. I'm not saying that you do, but they most certainly don't. They don't want to lose you as a supply source until they're ready to do so. And even then, they always want to be able to hoover and try to come back. Trying to have this conversation or any variation of it with a person like this can lead to them crying, screaming, yelling, begging you to stay, insulting you, trying to guilt trip you and tell you that you're abandoning them, you don't care about them. They might promise to change, they'll love bomb you. They could fly off into narcissistic rage and get really aggressive. You have to block and ignore and go without another word. It really is just the easiest way to do things. It might feel mean or cruel, maybe even unresolved. It's not mean. It's not cruel. You can't talk to them. And trust me when I tell you, it's very resolved. You've had enough. I'm sure you've tried the same tired conversations over and over. There's a resolution here, and it's you're leaving now. You're taking your ball. You're choosing not to play anymore. You're going home, and you're not doing this. Trust me, there's nothing that really even needs to be said. When you leave, trust me, they know why. They know it's because of them. They're going to smear you and make you the bad guy because that's what they need to do for sympathy and support, and it has to fit their narrative. And yet another thing we have to work towards accepting is they're going to do that. But silence really has the greatest way of just saying you don't meet my standards with the fewest possible words. Nothing is also what confuses or hurts them the most if that's something you're going for. I don't necessarily recommend it, but ironically, you saying nothing and doing what you need to do and moving forward with your life is really what cuts them the most. I mean, not for long. Inevitably, you will be replaced, but for the moment, they're going to think twice about it. So understand and work towards accepting that to them, you're the bad guy. You're mean, you don't play fair, you won't talk to them, you abandon them, blah, blah, blah. Everything that fits their little narrative of they're the underdog, they're the victim, they're so sad. But the sooner you make your peace with all of this, the better everything goes. So keep those few things in mind. And what does a no contact plan look like? And what are some things that we need to have in a plan? Well, for some people, setting a start date is very helpful. You might say to yourself, okay, well, the first of the month, that's it, I'm done. Or Monday, I'm giving myself until Monday. That's the day that I start no contact. Having a date to begin no contact can help you say anything else that you want to say, wrap it up as best you can. Again, tie up some of those loose ends. Think about what accounts might you have to block. It might help give you some time to get your things back, give them their things back. Just make those final little points in everything before you leave. It also puts a deadline on things and it makes it feel more final. Now, there are some people where a start date only makes them more anxious, nervous, and upset. If this is you and just thinking about setting a start date makes you go, oh, holy anxiety, Batman, I don't want to do this. A start date might not work for you, and that's okay, because there are other things that can be done that I want to talk about in this video. If you'd like to get some counseling and coaching one-on-one with me, have a safe place to vent and share your story if you'd like, you can visit jess-stanley.square.site. The link is down in the description for you. You can see my availability, a list of my services, and other information as well. If you have questions that you want answered about my sessions, or if you want to book immediate sessions or multiple sessions, it's easier to just shoot an email to bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to get those questions answered, and I look forward to hearing from you. Most people decide very quickly in the moment that they're done, which is also fine. You need to just kind of think about it in a way that makes it comfortable for you. Like I say, setting a start date can make a lot of people anxious. You can still gather info and think about what needs to be blocked, but if you get anxious thinking about a start date, then what we do on the flip side is we set an ending date. That can also help. Now, we understand that no contact has to be permanent. We get that. But sometimes just the thought of not talking to this person again, if we are very addicted or very trauma bonded, can lead to even more anxiety. And it really is an addiction at this point. It might be such a long-term thing that you have with this person. It's part of your routine. Breaking a habit is obviously very hard to do. So we set an ending date. And I recommend setting a 30-day no contact rule, so to speak. And you tell yourself, for the next 30 days, or whenever it is that you choose to start, for the next 30 days, I'm done. I'm blocking them on every avenue, and I'm not saying anything. 30 days is a really great amount of time because after a few weeks, new habits begin to form in your life. It slows, it kind of helps your anxiety because you keep telling yourself, on day 31, I'll talk to them. All I have to do is go 30 days. Anybody can go 30 days. All I have to do is get to day 31. Now, I'm not actually suggesting, of course, that you speak to them on day 31, but this is called faking it till you make it. And a good way to stop a habit is by saying, I don't have anything to say to this person today. I'm not engaging in another cycle of bullshit and abuse. Maybe tomorrow, but for today, I have nothing to say. And I have done this exact same thing myself. I've told myself, nope, not today, Satan, not today, maybe tomorrow. And then my brain goes, oh, okay, tomorrow. All I have to do is wait till tomorrow. I can do that. That's not a big deal. I'll do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and before I know it, it'll be tomorrow. Except the next day you just keep saying it over and over and over. And what's wild for most people is after like 2, 3, 4 weeks of not talking, you don't feel as much of a need to. Number one, you feel better. This person isn't harassing you, yelling at you, screaming at you, tormenting you, reaching out all the time. You realize that your life is pretty relaxed and pretty good. You're not being tortured, like I say. You're not getting those obnoxious texts, phone calls, whatever it is. Now, I'm not saying that you won't be heartbroken or upset. Sure, this sucks. This isn't easy. No one likes this. You're not going to be skipping around with just, fits of joy and just bursting with glee. but you will enjoy the calm and the peace. And if you give it 2, 3, 4 weeks, you'll find other activities to put in place where you were spending time with them in person or talking or, texting, what have you. So the starting and or ending dates can be a place for you to start. It gives you time to, maybe you have to warn your friends and family that you're going to walk away and go no contact. So you need to give these people a heads up that this person might reach out to them. And I would encourage your friends and family to block this person as well. And the end date can help someone to feel not so anxious. I think overall we work best when we can kind of drop the whole no contact verbiage. I'm not no contact. I can talk to whomever I want whenever I want. However, there are people who just don't get the privilege to talk to me because they don't conduct themselves in a way that I appreciate. They don't get to have me in their life. There are people that I will not be bothered by. And personally, I don't have them blocked. Most of them don't speak to me. I don't speak to them. If they do speak, I just ignore it. I have nothing to say. I'm not going to go in the same silly circular cycle. And it takes a bit of time to work towards that spot. It also does help if you have cooperation from the other person, but we're probably not ever going to get that. But as long as they think that they still get to have access to you, that's when you keep their asses completely blocked. Another important part of this plan is to start thinking about, well, what do we do if we're not spending time with them anymore? We're not talking to them, we're not texting, or whatever the case may be. And you'll find, like I did, when this person's gone from your life completely, you find yourself with a lot of free time and some loneliness and some boredom can set in. And this is where we need to begin to make the list of distractions or things that we need to work on, things that we need to catch up on. We need to find passion and purpose in our life. Spending more time on hobbies, activities, bettering ourselves, practicing self-love, self-care, spending time with family and friends, or maybe repairing some of those relationships. Maybe they've taken damage as a result of being with a narcissist. Maybe the narcissist was isolating you and you were very neglectful towards your children, your family, your friends, and you need to spend some time seeing if you can repair those relationships. And of course, do other things that you enjoy. Track yourself. When do you feel the most lonely? When do you feel the most bored? Is it in the morning? Did they call you before work? Did they text you at the end of the day? Did you go get coffee every Saturday at the same place? Where are those times where you're bored, when you're lonely, whatever it is that you're feeling? Those are the times that we need to fill with the distractions, the hobbies, activities, passions, and purpose. Walk your dog in the morning or call a friend. Hell, sleep in, that would be my route. But play a game at the end of your day or hit up a new place, make new traditions, new habits, and new hobbies. Distractions, a to-do list, again, working on yourself because these people are such a full-time job. We often neglect ourselves on the mental health front, the physical health front. Are we exercising, vitamins, good nutrition, talking to somebody for our mental health? Are we doing what we really need to do? And you start to fill up that time with new things and slowly begin to heal. Other things to keep in mind as you go through this process, or if you're just thinking about going through the process, it's okay to miss them. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to feel anguish. It's okay to love them. It doesn't mean you need to keep dealing with them. We have to learn that incredibly valuable lesson where it's okay to love somebody. You can love somebody, but know that they're toxic, they're unhealthy, they might have some mental issues and disorders that they're not handling, and you don't need that in your life. It's not good for you. So you need to go. You can make that exit while still wishing someone the best. You don't have to vilify somebody who has personality disorders or mental illnesses or any of that. I talk a lot of smack about these people. I like to try to put in a little comic relief. It's a very dour subject to talk about, but we don't have to make these people the villain. We don't have to make them the bad guy. We don't have to be the victim. We're not. We are a survivor. We can wish them the best, hope they get some help with their issues, and keep moving forward and still care about them. That's okay. but this can go on forever. I think the video's way, way long enough. So I call out to you now, survivor. If you have no contact tips or stories, share them with others in the comments. Of course, share how long you've been no contact. Let's congratulate each other. For me, it's been 4 years. I also have a playlist that I'm going to include this in of no contact videos along with some gray rock videos. Again, if that might be the avenue that you have to take, share in the comments what you did. If you broke no contact, how did you handle that? I have videos on what happens if you break no contact. Don't panic. Don't get upset, so on and so forth. I have a lot more videos coming, new ideas that I want to share with everyone. So please like and subscribe to help keep my channel going and growing and reaching more survivors. Consider becoming a channel member for access to other vintage collections, private collections, as a reward for being a support to me here on YouTube. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.